class that as socializing because they're talking to their friends, and in a way, yeah, you are socializing, but it's not the same when you're just talking to someone over a headset to actually having a face-to-face conversation with a person.
It can become quite isolating.
Yeah, it's really isolating.
So I wrote a play a couple of years ago, and it was all about a character who is like just set in a house on the eve of like a potential war breaking out, and it was all about like that. Do you know, like in these day and age with like social media and things like that, we're just constantly flooded with information.
Yeah.
I think it's just gonna like. It's about that basically. So all the dialogue is all just heavy conversation. It was trying to talk about like social media, and the only kind of connection he has with other people is through technology. So he's in his house by himself, and it was kind of like a comment on that in a way.
It's kind of like that. I guess they call it. It's the new kind of what they call reality TV show. I don't know if you saw it. Like it was on Channel 4. I can't remember what it was called. Let me look it up. Channel 4 reality TV.
You're going to be there all day if that's your Google search. Channel.
Come on.
Big Brother?
No. It was called, and let's say 2018, because that should help me. Oh, why won't you just get The Circle? That was what it's called.
Oh.
Okay, so The Circle was basically this. I thought it was kind of like an experiment, but it was a fully reality TV show. So basically, the object of the show was everyone goes in the show, and that it's very isolating. You don't get to see anyone else. You only get to see each other through this platform called The Circle. So you make an avatar, you make a character, and you could be the real person. You could be a real person, or you could be whoever you wanted to be. So like everyone on the show, mostly they like kind of made a character who was themselves, and they started talking to people. And like the more you connect with people, there you can let people in. You start off with just maybe sending messages, and you can start doing video calls and stuff like that. And I think there was one character in the show, not video call, sorry, it was all IM. So you've never done the video, you just saw an avatar. And like, you just saw like a display picture that someone put up. So I think there was one person in the show who was catfishing the whole show. He was actually a guy, and he was pretending to be a girl. Oh. And like, kind of at the end of the show, basically the whole point of the show was a popularity contest. It was you were basically meant to be the most liked person, and then the most liked person ends up winning. So at the end of the show, everyone on the show really liked this guy who was pretending to play this girl character. Everyone loved this character, this person. They were like, oh, she's the best person in the show. She became the most popular, and she ended up winning. So at the end of the show, once they revealed and they showed that it wasn't actually a girl they were talking to, it was a guy, there was like kind of this whole like angst that everyone was just like, oh, that's unfair. How he wasn't playing who he said he was playing. Like there was like obviously guys that were talking to her, and he was responding to guys and obviously flirting and stuff like that. And the reason why how he had that was because it was his plan from the start. He had a girlfriend, and his girlfriend had basically given him preset responses to send to guys as for whatever they would say, and then he's obviously like changed some of it, blah blah blah. But like there was guys that felt cheated because they'd like fell for her, like really liked her, but then now they feel like that it's not who they thought it was. And I thought it was a really interesting reality TV show because it's kind of, this is life nowadays. Like we're all isolated in our own boxes on our computers, typing away on Facebook or Instagram or whatever other social media website we're on, and sometimes you are talking to the genuine article person, but there's times where you could be talking to someone and it might not be who they say they are. And because it's the internet, you can't, there's no what's the word? Like a universal kind of verifier for the internet. Like there's no like thing like every time you log onto the internet, people know that it's you that's on your accounts. Like that would be dope if someone could create that though. Although at the same time, it means you would be tracking everyone. But it would be a good way to know that people are the genuine people you're speaking to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how we could fix this. Really and truly, it's just you don't know who you're speaking to online unless you've met that person in real life. That's how scary the internet is. Like, they can say they are who they say they are, but then you don't actually know unless you maybe speak to them on the phone, or like, good thing we have these video calls and FaceTime and everything like that. We can do that, and I think they just put that on the Bumble app as well, which I think is pretty cool. You can before you meet a person, you can FaceTime them, call them, and stuff like that, so you can actually see who they are before you meet them.
I think like the one thing that probably hasn't been taken seriously yet is like the psychological impact that the internet's probably going to have on all of us.
Yeah.
You know, with withdrawal symptoms if you don't check Facebook every like hour or something, and like, you know, you said like the amount of likes and stuff, like getting subconscious.
Instant gratification, yeah. And the thing is, like, even I'm subject to that sometimes, even though I know I shouldn't be.
We all are.
Yeah, like, I'll post something and I'm just like, I don't care if it hasn't got any likes. And then like an hour passes and I was like, what? No one's liked this yet? Well, what's going on? And then I get that one like, I'm like, alright, cool. Alright, cool, I'm calm. Not that I was fishing for the like, but it's just like, what do you mean no one liked it?
It's like as well with the, they think our attention spans are shortening, don't they? Because we have to see everything in short bursts.
Yeah.
Like, and the addictive, one of the addictive components of like Facebook is that where the going down the timeline never ends.
Exactly.
So you've constantly got that like cravings, you know, like.
You can always have your fix met with whatever you need unless you don't have data. that's literally it. Like, unless you don't have data, you don't have Wi-Fi, then that's how you start to freak out. Like, but then you never really had it, so like you've got nothing really to worry about. Also, another point I wanted to make: if someone's not on social media, do you trust that person?
They're kind of they're a peculiar.
Yeah.
Like, I've got quite a few friends who aren't on social media and stuff, but every time someone says, "Oh, I haven't got Facebook," or something, like, there is that little part of me that's like, really.
Really?
Oh,
you don't?
You don't?
Yeah. Like, yeah,
it's nothing wrong with it. It's a good thing, obviously.
No, it is a good thing, but like, it's just like
you are kind of taken aback a bit.
Yeah, like, even if someone's not on it, it's just like, oh, you're not. Oh, okay. So what? You think you're better than us, Facebook people?
Actually, there was a weird, like, I don't know if you've heard the idea about Facebook timelines, like, kind of ending up being a bit like obituaries if you used them in a certain way, you know, like this kind of graveyard.
Oh shit. That's a deep thought. Yeah.
If, like, you know, if Facebook continues on as long as the human race is around.
No, it's true. It's like even things like, do you know, because of data protection, if you die, Facebook is not obligated to give the family the password to the account of the person that's died because of data protection. That's like
kind of good though.
It's good, but then it's kind of like, what if you wanted? The only way you could, I guess it is good.
I mean, like, you don't want people to read your personal messages.
Yeah, I guess so. You don't want your parents to kind of log in and just like see what you've been talking about, see your banter. Like, nah, that's cool. Yeah, Facebook.
Hey man,
that's good, man.
Can I pick up a 10 or something?
You know, it's like, what? Secret life. I thought he was a good child.
But then it's a strange thought, isn't it? Like, you could literally just, like, if you just put up something every single time, a significant point in your life, and you just did like a photograph or something, you could literally look back on decades of, it's good keeping a diary in a way.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. That's what it's kind of turned into now, because like, I don't use Facebook now as much because my parents are on, literally my parents use Facebook now, or my mum uses Facebook now, and it's just like, if you use it, I don't want to use it. The whole point of me being on here was I could post stuff.
Yeah.
And now you're on here too, so. And then the only time like when Facebook got real was when my family members started to go on it, right? And then I would get a message from my mum saying, "Oh, did you post?" This was before my mum got on Facebook. She was like, "So and so told me that you posted," and I was like, "Oh, Facebook isn't safe anymore." And then like it's the same with like Instagram. Like my mom's on Instagram, but like she hasn't posted anything, but she's followed me. Yeah. It's just like, okay, mum.
It complicates things, doesn't it?
It complicates it. I mean, I'm not going to change my posting habits, but it's Instagram now. Come on.
Because I didn't mind it so much when older family members went onto Facebook. It was more when they followed you onto things like Instagram.
Yeah, that's it.
Just give us something, you know.
But no, I don't mind. It's more followers for the following. It puts the numbers up if the family members follow too. Makes me sound cynical, right? It's just things that go on in my head sometimes. It's just, it's cool.
Yeah.
Could we get? Is there anything else going on in the news? I was telling.
What isn't going on in the news?
I mean, everything is, but like, I found out today that because of Brexit, the pound is the worst performing major currency in the entire world. Because of Brexit. You hear that, politicians? Because of Brexit. You wanted to leave the EU because you wanted to make the pound stronger. Ha ha! Joke's on you. Sorry. Just really does annoy me that these politicians Markfield grabs Greenpeace protester by the neck. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Like saying distractions. But yeah, so apparently the pound is as weak, is as low, at the lowest value that it's been since 2017, guys. Deep that. We're in 2019, and the pound is as weak as we're in 2017. It's going to only get worse. It says here that the pound is weaker. Wait, great news for Brits abroad. Merely 1-to-1 exchange on the euro. 1-to-1. So for £1, I'm getting €1. Yo, that's like not good. I want to go away on holiday to Europe, and now I'm getting more euros for my pounds. Not the same.
That's a very thorough and deep political analysis of the situation.
Yeah, man. Currency is everything, because like. If the pound's weak, then it makes the economy weak, and it means that imagine like hyperinflation, like in Nazi Germany, like having to print pounds because pounds aren't worth anything. Like it could get to that point, but it's I want to say it's a crazy thought, but in this day and age, what's a crazy thought, you know?
And on top of that, we might have who are we going to have as our next Prime Minister as well?
Bojo. Boris Johnson.
The idiot.
The idiot, yeah. In the words of Soft Spoken, he is a soft sponge, I believe was the lines in his poem yesterday.
Yeah, it's like I've met some pricks in my time, but that guy's a cactus.
And the thing that just Who I can't remember the name of the other guy who's in the running.
Jeremy Hunt.
Jeremy Hunt, that's the guy. And Jeremy Hunt made a very valid point.